Prim of Baltimore County High School Boys Lacrosse as Cable 4 and Catonsville Community College present Baltimore County High School Sports, the Towson Generals and the Dulaney Lions. Hello everyone, this is Wilson Watson together with Bob Sopko. We're at Minigan Stadium at Towson State University. And today we have the two finest lacrosse teams in Baltimore County, the Dulaney Lions and the Towson Generals. Bob, what can we look for today from the Towson Generals?
Well, this is a battle of the kingpins of Baltimore County lacrosse, Wilson, as you said on the lead-in. Towson has got a little bit more experience, I think, at some positions than Dulaney this year. They have the experienced attack. They've got a reasonably experienced midfield, although I think they're a little thinner than Dulaney at that position. Towson's coming into the game with an 8-0 record, same as Dulaney, and they're primed, ready to go, as we saw before the game.
Dulaney this year has scored a lot of goals, but Bob, their defense has been outstanding.
That's the matchup I'm looking for today. It really is strength against strength. The Dulaney defense, strong, senior defense, good stick handlers against the Towson attack, featuring Brendan Kelly, a senior attackman who was everything last year, a real capable ball player. So it's really an even matchup in that position. If anything, I'm giving a little bit of an edge to Dulaney going into this because of their size and their little bit of an extra edge on midfield depth.
Well, certainly last year, Towson with a very exciting come-from-behind 11-10 victory that we broadcast for you last year. And just as we begin to speak here, it's been threatening all day, and the raindrops are starting to fall. So we're going to have what we know well will be an exciting game between two of the best teams to play lacrosse this year or any other year. So we'll be right back with you for the start of today's game between Dulaney and Towson. Stay with us. Here we are back at Towson Stadium. There you can see a sign from some of the Dulaney fans, and there are a lot of fans here today from both schools, Dulaney and Towson. Both teams, 8 victories, no defeats, and Bob, really comparable scores against common opponents. We saw Towson against Catonsville, and I was also privileged to be able to see Dulaney against Catonsville, and so we're seeing outstanding teams here.
Both teams are, in fact, undefeated at this point with 8-0 records coming into this. Both, as we said in the lead-in, represent the class of the Baltimore County A Division lacrosse. Out on the field right now, we see the captains for Dulaney with their backs toward us from left to right. That's number 33, Matt Spino, number 12, Ted Elliott, and double-aught Big Ed Stevenson leading the defense. On the right in the maroon jerseys is the Towson team. Their captain's number 13, Brendan Kelly, of course, the senior attackman, number 20, Dave Fusting, and number 1, goalkeeper Bob Pompanio. They're getting set for their pregame introduction of players here. And there we see the Towson group gathered together around Coach Randy Days for their last-minute instructions. Both teams came out for this game, Wilson. We watched them a little bit in warm-ups, and they both seem to come here with a real serious, deliberate attitude. Not a whole lot of rah-rah-rah from either team. They look like they're here to get down to business and play this game.
I see a lot of coaches from other schools here today, certainly drawn, having been beaten by both of them in some cases this year. I see Coach Ford here from Parkville, whose team last week played Towson, or earlier this week, I should say, and Towson outshot them 45-9, just to show the dominance in that game. As I said before, they're the Towson cheerleaders. The Towson cheerleaders, who might mention while we have them on camera, Lynn Lacey, Kim Oddie, Lorna Chafinch, Tracy Sheehan, Julie Glazier, Tricia Morani, Gabby Dunmeyer, Heidi Brower, and the captains, Lisa Vickers and Sheila Cohen. There they are, the Towson General cheerleaders. We'll get to those Dulaney cheerleaders later. We'll have to have a long pause that time because there are a lot of them here today. But anyway, Towson against Catonsville won 14-3. Dulaney against Catonsville, the score was 16-3, and I saw both of those games, and they certainly little to choose from. They're the Dulaney cheerleaders, and here come those names. Sherry Sluss, the two captains, Sean Prendergast and Susan Patterson, Monica Meehan, Monica Larrabee, Peggy Patterson, Susan Joden, Eileen Baileys, Brandy Boopert, Kathy Field, Kim Kleiner, Stacy Kern, Holly Phipps, Jill Branger, Angie Smith, Beth Petter, Gina DiPasquale, and Caddy Pescrilli. And Bob, I got them all in. The Dulaney cheerleaders. And you see they look a little chilly because the weather has gotten quite a bit cooler, and it is starting to rain, and as we talk to you, it is raining a little bit harder out here at Towson Stadium, so the weather very well may be in effect. Here's that Dulaney team, the Dulaney lineup.
Dulaney is setting up in the center of the field, getting ready for the face-off lineup. There we see some of the starters, double odd Captain Ed Stevenson.
And here's our national anthem.
And both teams lining up in the center of the field now. The Towson Generals facing us in the dark jerseys. We'll get those lineups to you in just a moment. In the white jerseys with red numerals, the Dulaney Lions, that is, and Towson Generals, excuse me, in the purple jerseys.
Towson has a potent attack, and one man to watch is Bacher, because he is an excellent feeder on attack for the Towson Generals. That's number 6, Tom Bacher, who's a sophomore. And here they go for those face-offs. That's John Harold for Towson, an outstanding face-off man. That is his specialty. He will face off and then come out of the game. Now the
ball rolls into the Dulaney attack zone, clearing all the players from the face-off restriction, and Dulaney does get control of the ball.
Jay Clark got it back outside to the midfield.
It's Mark Laudieri with the ball for Dulaney.
Laudieri on that midfield with Kevin Jedlicka, number 25. That's Kevin behind the goal. And that's number 15, Rob Robertson. Dulaney having scored many, many goals this year. They beat Hereford at one point by the score of 25-0. And here's in for the goal and a score.
Mark Laudieri using his strength to bull by the Towson defensive midfielder to get the first score of the game.
Number 14, Mark Laudieri. Senior midfielder for Dulaney scores the game first goal, and Dulaney leads very early by the score of 1-0.
That's one of the things I was looking for going into this game, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Wilson, is I do think that the size of the Dulaney midfielders is going to work to their advantage when compared to the Towson midfielders. At that point there, we saw Lardieri use his strength to get by and get off a shot. Just got by Bob Pomponio in the Towson goal.
Harold getting the face off that time. So the ball behind to the Towson attack. Back outside into the midfield.
That's Brendan Kelly, Towson's attackman, number 13, handling the ball out in front of the goal.
Kelly is way outside, out of his normal attacking position, but that's what Coach Days tries to do, is to use him all over the field, and he's got a very powerful shot, and he gets around his man but loses his stick. And Dulaney with the ball. That's Clark getting the ball ahead to number 25. That is Kevin Jedlicka, still that first midfield in for Dulaney. They lead 1-0. Ball dropped by Mark Lardieri and picked up for Towson, John Sheehan. And there you can see the effects of that wet field.
Yeah, we're getting well, it's a little more than a light rain now. It's raining a moderate amount, enough to get the top of the grass wet, which I'm sure will be a little bit of a problem for both teams right at the beginning here.
Here's Sheehan out in the center of the midfield. On the far side to Bacher. That's Bacher over there on the far side. A very good feeder for Towson. And there's a shot, a nice stop in there by the Dulaney goalie, and that goalie is Chris Swanenberg, number 23, a junior. No, that's not Chris. That's number 36, Paulie Arfarth, who's a sophomore. So Dulaney starting the sophomore in goal today. And here's Dulaney again on the attack. The Lions lead 1-0. There's a shot and another score.
And that's Mark Lardieri, number 14, getting his second goal of the game, scoring the first 2 goals for Dulaney. That time on an assist. Ball coming from behind on the rotation. Kevin Jedlicka passing him the ball for the assisted goal. A nice high bounce getting over Pomponio's shoulder.
Mark Lardieri giving Dulaney a 2-0 lead in the first quarter. And there's going to be a timeout now. Coach Randy Dace taking a timeout right away because he wants to talk to his team as they've dropped behind. But remember last year, the same thing happened. So the score is 2-0 Dulaney. This is a Baltimore County Cable 4 High School Sports Production. Stay with us. You can see the rain there, the gentleman behind the cheerleaders with the umbrella and the cheerleaders who are getting wet. We ought to mention the officials here today are Jim Bateman, the referee, and Stu Carlisle, the umpire, 2 gentlemen who have been around lacrosse officiating for a long time. So they're very familiar with the game and all of its rules and rudiments. So we've got another face-off here with Dulaney leading 2-0.
Getting down for the face-off there, number 33 in white for Dulaney is Matt Spino, and for Towson, as he will probably do all day, 15, John Harold.
Harold is in there on the midfield with Brendan Kelly now running out at midfield for Towson, and Kelly will do this throughout the game. He'll run at midfield and he'll run on attack. They try to utilize him wherever possible. But right now it's Dulaney leading 2-0, but last year the same thing happened. Dulaney jumped off to an early lead and Towson came back, and there's a shot and score. Number 20, Dave Fusting, from number 13, Brendan Kelly, gives Towson their first goal, and it's 2-1.
Nothing real fancy about that. Brendan Kelly taking the ball out at the midfield restraining line, looking to make a move one-on-one, hoping to draw the backup, and he did. When the backup came, he dumped off very alertly over to Fusting, who rifled the shot in under the goalkeeper, Arfarth. Just a nice, good basic lacrosse play. Wait for the draw, get the dump, and take the shot.
Excellent shot by Fusting, and the weather conditions here as the game progresses will get steadily worse. This rain getting heavier and players beginning to slip already. So we'll see which team, as they say in horse racing, is the better mudder. Harold had the ball momentarily, but now it is picked up by number 20, Dave Fusting, and he has Towson's only goal. So the Generals trailing 2-1 now on the attack. Back to Kelly. Fusting now. The players not moving very quickly, trying to control the ball. Kelly being played very closely by Andy Lung, and he gets the ball. And we'll get a call here.
Yeah, that should be a push. Loose ball pushing call, right? Should turn possession over to Dulaney.
Dulaney takes over. The Lions leading here 2-1. They scored the game's first 2 goals. Towson just came back with their first. Looking over here for number 44, that's Chris Gorney. And on the ball for Towson is number 22, Paul Wayner, a defenseman. And Towson gets it.
We've got a penalty being called here, Wilson. That's a slash, I believe, being called on Dulaney, which will give Towson, yes, that's correct. Towson will have the man advantage for a minute on the slashing call.
Penalty called on, it looks like, well, it's hard to say, because they will have a different man in the penalty box. But whatever, Towson will be extra for 1 minute. It's 2-1 Dulaney. We're in period number 1. Now we'll see what Towson can do on their extra man play. It's number 19 with the ball. That's Tim Berquist. There's a shot by the goal.
That was Brendan Kelly making a quick move on this sliding extra man defense to get around and get a shot off, but he did miss the face of the goal. Towson retains possession.
Number 19 with the ball, Berquist. They're going to get it out to Kelly here in the middle of the field. Kelly around to Bacher. That's Dave Bacher. We have a correction on his first name, what we had on our sheet. There's a shot, feed, and a score. Looked like a shot, but it was an excellent feed by Brendan Kelly onto the near corner of the post here to number 19, Tim Berquist. And Tim Berquist scores Towson's second goal to tie this game at 2.
Again, the value of a respected player like Brendan Kelly, obviously the #1 man on the offense. Twice now he's made the move, drawn the attention of the defense, and very alertly, a sign of a mature lacrosse player, passing off to a player who has an easy shot in the goal. In that case, Berquist getting the goal very easily from the side.
Well, this goal just as close as we expected and hoped it would be. 2 of the best lacrosse teams on the high school level that you'll ever see anywhere. And Harold just not able to keep his feet. And Harold having to play more at midfield than he has all year. Normally he just faces off, but there have been some problems for Towson with injuries, and so Harold is staying in there now on this midfield. Dulaney with the ball behind their goal, and that's Paulie Arfarth, the goalie. Players moving a little tentatively because they are sliding on this wet field. Nice clear by Dulaney. Gets it ahead to a defenseman. This is Stevenson. And right in on the crease. Dulaney picking it up. Ted Elliott there with the ball, number 12. And he gives it off to number 25. And that is Kevin Jedlicka. Jedlicka midi, but moving back behind the goal. Setting it up to Clark. Clark, an excellent attack man. Outside, and it looks like almost a shot there by Tony Grogan.
It's a good slide by the Towson defense right there to cover for the first slide rather than let the midfielder get the shot off. Towson's going to need to have that excellent defense working for them today.
Here comes Clark. He scores a lot of goals. Against Catonsville, he had 5 or 6. I believe it was 5. And that's number 12 with the ball.
Ted Elliott.
Ted Elliott. Bob Pompanio in goal for Towson. And Towson's close defense being tested. Coach Randy Walker said he hoped that the team his defensemen had matured to be prepared for this game, not having been really tested all year. And there's a shot and a score. Coming in all by himself, and that again looks like Lardieri.
That's all 3 shots that Lardieri has taken. All 3 of the Dulaney goals have been those high bouncing shots, popping it right inside the crease line so that it rises up over Pompanio's shoulder. All three of the goals, the three shots look like carbon copies of one another. But it's working, so he'll keep shooting them.
Mark Lardieri has given his team a 3-2 lead. Dulaney in the lead. Dulaney coached by Gary Schreiber. Towson coached by Randy Dace. Harold and Speno in on that face-off, and Speno gets it. Harold normally dominating face-offs, but not today.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, Speno's got some reputation himself as a face-off man. He's a big, strong fellow. Has been doing most all of the facing off for Dulaney this year.
Once again, the Lions on the attack. They're ahead 3-2. Ball back to Pompanio. He looks outside to number 9, Mark Evans. Mark ahead to Fusting. Here comes Dave Fusting, junior midfielder for Towson, and he'll wait and set it up. And that's Kelly in the middle. No, that's number 19. That's Tim Berquist. He has one of Towson's goals. Tim dodging, takes the shot and scores. Oh, it's really a dull game out here, Bob. Number 19, Tim Berquist, scoring for Towson.
Yeah, they're going at each other. That's another one of those high bouncing shots. Berquist just rolled around his defenseman, got a little bit of his weight going the wrong way, turned and let the shot go right on the roll. Arfarth probably took him a little bit by surprise, seeing him come off the traffic. I doubt that he got a good eye on the stick as it came around. But we're into a tie ball game right now, just as we expected.
3-3, and it may boil down, as it does in so often with well-matched teams, on who has the ball last on offense. Harold gets this face-off. Ahead to Bacher, but well, Bacher ought to be able to pick it up unmolested. His defenseman fell down, and so Dave Bacher will move in toward the goal, but now he gets it outside.
There's just 2 minutes left in the first period, Wilson. We have the luxury of a clock that we can see today.
Come on, get on, Brendan.
Brendan Kelly shoots and scores. Brendan Kelly with his first goal of the afternoon, and gives Towson for the first time the lead with 1 minute and 43 seconds left. And there's a Towson fan with a red and white face, maroon and white, I should say. It's 4-3 Towson.
That's the kind of offensive performance we've come to see from Brendan Kelly over the last couple of years. He's noted for his hard shot and quick release, as we say, getting again a roll on the defenseman and letting the ball go so quickly that the goalkeeper just has a tough time reacting to it.
The Johns Hopkins coaching staff will have the pleasure of Brendan's presence next year after he graduates. Dulaney with the face-off, coming right back. That's Speno.
Very dangerous loose ball in the crease area, but Dulaney was not able to capitalize on it.
Now Dulaney riding very well, and they do there. Evans not able to handle the ball. It's out in front, and Pompanio coming out of the goal, and now he's got it in the crease. Some good work there by Bob Pompanio.
It's real important for a goalkeeper to recover like that and get the clamp on those loose balls in front of the crease area. Right now, things are happening in the middle of the field here, and we've got to call a loose ball push, which will give possession over to Towson.
Towson leading 4-3, and they'll get the ball on the changeover, and we've got another timeout. This one seemingly again called by Towson. I believe I saw Brendan Kelly give the signal, so we do have timeout with a score 4-3. Towson in the lead. There you can see Gary Schreiber coming out with his Dulaney Lions. So the score is 4-3 on our Cable 4 Sports high school lacrosse action. Stay with us, Towson State, for their usual hospitality and kindness and helping us with our broadcast today. And Bob, it's really nice to be in here in the booth where the rain doesn't hit us while the players have to play in it out there on the field.
Well, we wouldn't forget to thank Towson for their use of the stadium, especially this nice warm press box that we're sitting in. Beautiful
facility here at Towson State. They have every reason to be proud of it. And our Cable 4 crew out there in the rain shooting the pictures that you're seeing on your TV sets.
There's 55 seconds left in the period here, as Towson apparently has taken the timeout to try to set up a play. This would be number 3, John Sheehan handling the ball.
We saw Sheehan with some good work against Catonsville. We used Catonsville because we were able to see Dulaney and Towson against that team, so we have a kind of barometer, and our barometer showed that these teams are very even, which is exactly what the score shows. Here comes Brendan Kelly again, and he scores. Kelly wound up that time for about 20 yards, came around the goal, took that tremendously hard shot right over the goalie's shoulder, and it's 5-3 Towson.
Again, one of those power moves by Kelly to come across the front of the goal, but I also think that the Dulaney defense made a mistake on that in that they went for the double team, but when the second man came in for the double team, they didn't stop Kelly's momentum. In effect, Kelly ran right by the second man and getting the shot off without any pressure at all. We didn't expect to see that from the Dulaney defense. Senior experienced defense, we expected to have a very strong opposition and control of Kelly today.
Now we've got a call here against Dulaney. Yes, the Dulaney midfielder came over the line before the whistle was blown, and so Towson will get possession. And on this midfield, we have number 20, Dave Fusting, number 24, Dorsey Moore, and number 3, John Sheehan. And this is Fusting on this side. And here come 3 people out to challenge Fusting, so he dumps it off. And now Dulaney will attempt their clear with number 12, Ted Elliott. And here's the open man, but the ball goes out of bounds. Intended for Chris Gorney, and Towson takes over again. The Generals leading 5-3 with only 5 seconds left in this first period. And that is the end of the first quarter. The scoreboard says 5, but the referee says 0. So the first quarter has ended with the Generals of Towson leading the Lions of Dulaney 5-3. The rain is coming down, but we'll have the second quarter for you in just a moment. The score 5-3, so stay with Cable 4. In the rain, what's it like to play under these conditions?
The only thing that gets to be treacherous on a field like this, with this amount of rain we've had, is the grass itself. The green grass, surprisingly enough, is what gets slipperiest. Once there's a lot of rain and it's mud all over, it's a more consistent footing, actually. But the slippery grass will be a problem, and I don't think it's going to rain that much harder through the rest of the day.
Harold getting this face-off for Towson. This is the beginning of the second quarter. We've got 10 minutes to go in the first half. 4 10-minute quarters in high school lacrosse. And in the center of the field for the Generals, as one would expect, is Brendan Kelly.
Once again, Towson's going to that 1-4-1 setup, giving Kelly the ball on the point and having him drive in and look to pass off.
Well, 4 people hit him that time. Bacher on the other side in the crease, intended for number 8, Tim Washburn. Dulaney in control now. And that ball hit the Towson player, the attempted pass, but Dulaney still with it. Number 12, Ted Elliott. Ball jolted away and picked up by Brendan Kelly. Now those passes very, very tricky now. Number 24, that's Dorsey Moore. The ball gets wet, the sticks get wet, and passing and catching becomes something more of an art under these conditions. The rain has let up somewhat. It's very fine out there now, but the field getting quite slippery. Towson leading 5-3.
Towson seeming content to slow things down here for a moment. We saw Brendan Kelly bend over to get a breath of air.
Dorsey Moore with the ball, passes it off to Sheehan. Sheehan, and both men go down. Sheehan has to pick the ball up now. He doesn't have his stick. The rule is that you cannot play without your stick. You have to pick the stick up before you can do anything.
And the ball does change over to Dulaney on the out-of-bounds play there.
Now the Lions wanting to get back. They scored the first 2 goals of the game, but since then they have been outscored by Towson 5-1. So the score is now 5-3, and we have 8 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in period number 2. Another bad pass. Ball lying right on the out-of-bounds line there for a second.
And out of the scrap, Dulaney gets possession. And that should be a pushing call. I think you saw that pretty clearly from behind. I'm not sure who the Towson man was, but Mike Hayes, the Dulaney midfielder, after picking up the ball, was pushed from behind as he dropped out of bounds. So that'll be a 30-second penalty since Hayes did have possession of the ball.
This is Dulaney's first extra man situation. Towson has had one, and now Dulaney will have one for 30 seconds. And the Lions, trailing by 2, certainly want to take advantage of this and to try to get back in the game. And Coach Gary Schreiber has instructed them in the play that he wants them to call. And that's number 6, Jay Clark. Outside in the midfield. Let's check it. That's number 8, Mike Hayes. Around outside. The ball hits a Towson stick. Now Towson trying to clear. Intercepted by Ed Stevenson. Nice play by Stevenson. That long stick really came in handy.
Hey, that's what a coach always hopes his defensemen do down at that other end of the field, is pay attention and make those alert plays. It means a lot to the offense.
Nice stop by Pompanio of a shot by number 16 for Dulaney. That is Tony Grogan. Towson now on the clear. Sheehan coming in, falling down, and Bacher will have to try to retrieve, but here comes Dulaney.
The referee signals that it's Dulaney's ball. That looks like a surprise to me, Wilson.
I was surprised at particularly the Towson fans here in front of us. But Dulaney will have the ball. That's number 7 with it, Andy Lung. And he gives it off to number 8, Mike Hayes. Back to the goalie. That's Paulie Arfarth. And here's Hayes. He'll bring it up himself until hit. And Spino with it now, number 33. Bodies on the ground, sticks on the ground, and the ball on the ground.
Pompanio's got it, raking it into the crease.
We're going to get a call here, being in the crease. And we're not sure whether it's against Dulaney or against Towson.
It's an illegal procedure call the referee was making, and it looks like Towson will get control of the ball.
We saw this happen in the Dulaney-Catonsville game, in which a ball was in front of the goal, and the Dulaney goalie did just what Pompanio was doing, lost control of it, and the ball went in the goal. But it didn't affect the outcome of the game at all. It was just one of those little things that sometimes happen.
Embarrassing thing that sometimes happens.
Absolutely.
Stay with him, Jay. That's it.
Ball out of bounds to Dulaney.
Maybe it's a tentative footing out on the field, Wilson, but neither team seems to be particularly slick in their passing at this point. Both teams are very tentative when it comes to passing the ball, and we don't seem to be showing the level of play that we expected to see.
Well, we've got number 13 in there, Bill Heapy, and number 3 for Dulaney, Brian Kanabe. So we've got, in essence, what amounts to a third midfield in for Dulaney. Again, most premier lacrosse teams have at least 3 midfields. And this is sometimes where we see the weaker teams. They just don't have that depth. And they have 1 good midfield, but not 2 or 3 the way Towson and Dulaney have. A little tennis there from the Towson defenseman. Sort of looks like field hockey at times, Bob.
Long ground ball struggles really take it out of the players, too.
Number 22 for Towson doing a nice job. That's Paul Wayner, a senior defenseman. But they lost a golden opportunity there because number 8, Washburn, couldn't control the ball. So now Dulaney will get to put it on the attack. And on the far side is number 25, Kevin Jedlicka.
Doing what an attackman should do at this point. After a long ground ball struggle like that, once his team gets possession, a good attackman who knows the game will slow things down to let his midfielders recover their legs a little bit. Those ground ball struggles are real debilitating, real tiring.
Jedlicka being played by Wayner. Took a shot that hits somebody before it even got to the goal, and once again, the ball out of bounds, and this time it'll go to Towson. So in the last 2 minutes, Bob, we haven't seen what one would call sparkling play from either side.
Yeah, raggedy style. Like I said, Wilson, it may possibly be that the footing out there is so tentative that players just aren't moving through the ball as quickly as they expect on their timing.
2 shots in this quarter so far, Bob, and we've got 4 minutes and 33 seconds left. Towson still in the lead, 5-3. Back to Pompanio. Pompanio not tested very much against Parkville this week. He only had 5 saves. And he and number 9 right now, Mark Evans, playing catch. There's a nice pass to number 3, John Sheehan. Ahead to Kelly. And a score. A nice play to Washburn.
Now there's the stick work we came to see. Bringing the ball up the field on 5 excellent on-the-money passes. The final pass, the assist going to Brendan Kelly, and the goal to Tim Washburn, number 8.
Tim Washburn with his first, Towson 6th. The Generals now lead. There you can see some of the Towson fans, and you might have caught a glimpse. There's one of them, the triplets that play on the basketball team, the Dietermans, or Dettermans, I should say, and I see them up there in the stands. We saw them earlier this year on Cable 4 with girls basketball as Towson went to the finals of the state tournament and lost by only 4 points. So an excellent year for Towson in girls basketball. So it's 4-3, Towson, or 6-3, excuse me, Towson in the lead. Be right back with us on Cable 4. We're in the second quarter. We've got 4 minutes left, and it's 6-3 Towson. Towson having just scored on a beautiful goal involving some sharp passing. The last one, Kelly to Washburn. Washburn with the goal. So Dulaney jumping out to the early 2-0 lead, but since then it's been all Towson, and they lead 6-3. And be with Cable 4 coming up later this season when we will have the outstanding Baltimore County All-Star Lacrosse game played at Catonsville Community College on May the 19th at 2 o'clock. So come out and watch the game, and if you can't see it, or if you do see it live, tune it in later that week on Cable 4. The 19th of May at Catonsville Community College, Baltimore County All-Star Lacrosse game. And here's Towson with the face-off, and the ball ahead to John Sheehan. But Dulaney now has it, and Dulaney attempting to clear. And this is number 44, Chris Gorney. And Pompanio out of the goal to pick it up. Looking for somebody to pass to. Over to number 9, that is Mark Evans. Now Towson taking their time. Dulaney rides very well on these clears. This is by no means an easy play. Pass ahead in the center to number 25. That's Sam Goff. Brendan Kelly, who loses the ball, and picked up by Stevenson.
And that'll be a tripping call right there. We see the referee. No, he didn't call a trip. He's calling a push.
Calling a push. Well, I think that's a better call, Bob, because some of the trip was, in a sense, the result, I think, of slipping on both players' parts.
Well, I think the referees take a little bit of latitude with that, depending on whether it's a dangerous play or whether the player does it more or less by accident, which was the case that time.
Still, Dulaney with the extra man now for 30 seconds. They were not able to capitalize the last time, so the Lions would like to get their extra man play working. And there's number 14 with the ball, Mark Lardieri. He has all 3 of Dulaney's goals today. Number 25 there with the ball, that's Jedlika. Lardieri. Here's behind the goal now, and we're going to get another call. Referee dropping his flag. And the ball will go over to Towson, so there must have been some sort of technical violation there. Maybe that moving pick, Bob?
No, I saw that from behind the goal. Away from the ball, number 16, Tony Grogan for Dulaney, who was being played one-on-one in that extra man situation. Got a little frustrated with his defensive coverage and pushed the defenseman away from the ball. The referee alertly saw it, that being a technical foul, meaning loss of possession, so Towson gets it.
Now, Towson is down a man, so the Generals are trying to get the ball over that line. They Well, there's the long pass, but it's not handled. And Dulaney with it. And doing a nice job there. Number 5 for Dulaney. That's Jeff Iannello. Not a very heavy body checking today. Ball will go out of bounds, out of a Towson stick, so it goes over to Dulaney. But the 30-second penalty has elapsed, and we are now all even. Again, the officials today are Jim Bateman and Stu Carlisle. People who follow lacrosse, Bob, certainly recognize the name Stu Carlisle.
Well, both Jim Bateman also is a well-known name around lacrosse. He's been refereeing games for a number of years.
This is number 7, Andy Lung.
An excellent save by Pompanio to come right out and cut off his shot angle.
Problem with those passes. There's the ball ahead to number 10, Richard Rosenthal. Richard Rosenthal over to 19, Tim Berquist. Tim has 2 goals today for Towson.
And again, Towson goes into that more or less a 1-4-1 offense, letting a midfielder, in this case, it's Fusting, but now back to Kelly, operating with the ball out in front.
Brendan Kelly with 2 goals today. And he attracts a crowd wherever he goes, and you can see what that crowd does. Nice pass to Washburn that time. Washburn on the ground trying to dodge everybody. We're going to get a call. And again, it will go against Dulaney.
That's a 1-minute slashing call. In that crowd, apparently one of the defensemen, we couldn't tell which one, must have clipped him in the helmet with his stick. So Towson will be extra for a minute.
Towson has been successful today on their extra man play, and with 58 seconds left to go in the second period, they are leading 6-3. So this would be very important for the Generals to get a goal here and possibly give them a 4-goal lead before going into halftime. That's number 19, Tim Berquist with the ball. Over to Kelly. And in the center to number 8, that's Tim Washburn. Behind the goal, that's Dave Bacher. Bacher looking around, getting a few whacks there from the Dulaney defenseman. Nice stop. So Towson's extra man offensive thrust didn't get anything that time. There's a nice play by Ed Stevenson, a defenseman.
And this is a fast break that Stevenson's setting up.
There's Clark. And he missed the goal. An easy shot that time for number 7, Andy Lung, and he just missed it.
Well, he just missed it, but Pompanio again did a real nice job. He's in the position on those short shots. A goalkeeper all he can rely on is being in the right place. And that doesn't come accidentally, and Pompanio had it.
That's it. That's the end of the second quarter, or the end of the first half, and Towson leads 6-3. Bob, any quick thoughts?
I just think the Dulaney defense has got to settle down a little bit. They came into this game with obviously an aggressive defensive plan, and I think that aggression so far has gotten them in trouble.
Well, Towson is leading, unlike last year when they had to come from behind. So this year the Generals find themselves leading 6-3 at the end of the half. But Dulaney is a powerful team, scoring goals in double figures, sometimes as many as 25 a game. So we certainly expect the Lions to come back. And we'll be back with you for the second half. Again, it's 6-3 Towson on Cable 4. Stay with us. At Dulaney Senior High School. Doug, what's the Gifted and Talented program all about at Dulaney?
Well, the Gifted and Talented program was started when I was in 7th grade at Ridgely, and it's since continued through to 12th grade. It was originally with English, math, and science, and has since included social studies. It's supposed to isolate the best or the better students in the county and pair them up with the best teachers so they learn more than they would in a standard classroom.
And you're on your way to Williams College and hoping for a presidential scholarship.
Right, yeah, I should find out about the presidential scholarship in the next few days, and I'm going to Williams in Williamstown, Massachusetts, and I hope to major in Russian.
An outstanding scholar and a cross-country man from Dulaney Senior High School.
I'll take it.
People from all walks of life.
Stadium. Towson in purple, Dulaney in white. Game is just underway. The score 6-3. The face-off was just completed. A loose ball down on the end of the field. We have a pushing call. Ball goes over to Dulaney. That'll be number 12 for Dulaney with the ball, picking up Ted Elliott. And we do have a new goalkeeper in the game for Dulaney. Handling the ball as we look down on the field, that's Chris Swanenberg, number 23. Paulie Arfarth, the starting goalkeeper, did a nice job in the first half. Evidently, Coach Schreiber is rotating time with both of his goalkeepers.
Dulaney on their clear. This is Ted Elliott, and he gets the ball ahead to number 16. That's Tony Grogan. Back to the goalie again. Swanenberg now in goal for Dulaney. Another pass picked up by Paul Wayner, number 22, and he gets the ball ahead to the Towson attack. And there's Kelly with a tremendous shot from the outside, but it didn't get to the goal. Kelly retains possession, however. Gets by, looks. Outside to number 26. That's Dan Feely. Now that pass went right by Tim Washburn. We can see on the wet grass it just died there at the end line, or the sideline, I should say. Nice interception that time by number 3, Sheehan. Kelly hit the pipe. Brendan Kelly with a nice shot, but it hit the right pipe right from our aspect. Left if you're standing in the goal. And number 16 with the ball for Dulaney, Tony Grogan, a senior midfielder. The Lions down 6-3. We've got 7 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the third period.
Yeah, the key right now for Dulaney, I think, is to regain their composure. The ball bouncing around as it was in the first half. And there's a shot on goal.
Nice stop by Pompanio. He didn't get much action on Tuesday, but he's getting it today and doing a nice job. Number 9 with the ball for Towson, Mark Evans. Back to Pompanio. Drew Bracey also in there on defense for Towson. And the ball out of bounds. Not controlling it was Eric Lige on defense.
So here Dulaney gets its first offensive opportunity, real offensive opportunity in the second half, and I think we're going to see how the second half is going to go for them. Can they stabilize the ball? Can they move it, get their catching and throwing back in the groove?
Wayner, Evans, and Lige in there on defense for Towson in front of Pompanio. Pompanio intercepts a bad Dulaney pass, and that's number 23, Eric Lige. And number 19 with it, that's Tim Berquist. 2 goals already today for the Generals. Tim kind of tiptoeing along this sideline. It's a very cold, raw, rainy day here. The rain continuing to fall lightly but steady. And that's number 20 in the middle. That's Dave Fusting.
Come on, Ed.
Fusting again with the ball. Now that's number 13, Brendan Kelly. Kelly will control much of the time. He gives it to Fusting.
Towson seems rather content to stay in this offensive pattern where the ball is handled out front, alternatively by their strongest offensive players, looking for that mistake by a defensive player to get in for the either shot or the dump off to another player.
Berquist that time trying to dodge a lot of people, and that ball will go out of bounds and will go over to Dulaney.
Yeah, the referee did call that a shot, and the goalkeeper being closest to the ball as it goes across the back line will get possession on that.
No scoring so far in the second half. Picked up again by the Towson defense, very alertly, number 22 that time, Paul Wayner. And Fusting will settle it down. Towson leading 6-3. Fusting being pushed out. Kelly shot by the goal. And Dulaney closest to the end line when the ball went out of bounds, so they will get control.
Towson attackman behind the goal there, number 8, Tim Washburn, wasn't quite sure of the referee's call at that point. You saw him wondering whether that was true, that the defenseman was closest to the ball. Referee, of course, is always right.
There's Coach Randy Dace on the sidelines. Towson headed for the Class A regional playoffs, and Dulaney certainly headed for the Class AA regional playoffs. And Cable 4 will have the finals from UMBC if any of the county schools make it. And we're certainly hoping that they do.
Towson's doing a good job of riding here, forcing Dulaney to take a lot of passes to get the ball out, which it looks like they finally do. Ed Stevenson bringing the ball into the attack zone for
Head to Clark. Nice stop by Pompanio. Another nice stop by Pompanio. Yeoman work in there for the Towson goalkeeper. Ball out of bounds, and it will be in a call, and the ball over to Towson. Handling it will be number 24, Dorsey Moore. There's Coach Gary Schreiber looking on anxiously. His Lions trailing by 3. We've got 4 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in the third period. Towson on their clear. Number 9, Mark Evans. Back to the goalie, Pompanio. Nice clear that time. Worked very nicely in the middle to number 24, Dorsey Moore. And this is number 3, John Sheehan. Sheehan around his man, but picked up very well. Takes a shot and misses the goal, and we're going to get a call. Looks like a slash on the head.
Call. That's a slashing call, referee indicating that he got him on the neck, which will certainly get him 1 minute in the penalty box. So Towson will be extra. Towson will have the extra man situation for a minute.
Neither team, Towson capitalizing once on an extra man play, otherwise neither team being able to do much. Weather conditions again having a lot to do with it. Towson up now for a minute, and the Dulaney players coming out to challenge. They're not going to sit back. They're coming out to ride very closely. Towson behind the goal now. That's Bacher. Out front to Sheehan. And a score by number 19 for Towson, his third goal of the day, Tim Berquist, and a nice bit of dodging there, Bob.
Well, that was a generally well-executed extra man offense right there. The ball moved around, got the defense to rotate, finally finding the open man, John Sheehan, finding the open man, Berquist on the side. Berquist actually had a shot right away, but chose to dodge, dip dodge the defenseman coming his way and ending up with a real easy shot into the goal. But all in all, an excellent team offensive episode there.
Well, we've got 3 minutes and 18 seconds left as it shows on the scoreboard. The scoreboard has been off a little bit today, but certainly very close to that. And Towson now leading 7-3. And Dulaney with the face-off. The Lions needing to get some goals here. They scored the first 2, but since then they have been outscored by Towson by the count of 7-1.
Dulaney's capable of scoring goals in bunches, but I do think it's critical right now that they start to get their offense on track. There's some psychology that works for you in games like this, where if you're frustrated on offense, sometimes it gets real hard to break out of that the longer it goes.
Well, they're coming in now. And a shot that time over the goal. Dulaney will retain control because the attack man was back there first. There are the Dulaney cheerleaders, looking a little bit more damp than when we saw them at the beginning of the game. Both teams with their fans out in force. A lot of parents here today. Other coaches. I noticed the coach from Randallstown here today, the coach from Parkville here today. Just wanting to see good quality lacrosse.
Oh, it's a terrific crowd we have here today, considering the weather. A good crowd, real enthusiastic bunch. Everybody has a favorite in this game, though.
There's a shot and a score. So Dulaney gets their first goal for a long time, and that was scored by looks like number 16, Tony Grogan. That is number 16, Tony Grogan, his first goal of the day, and that cuts the margin for Towson to 3. It is now 7-4 with 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the third quarter.
And we'll see if that's the icebreaker for the Dulaney offense. As I said before, I think they need to get their offense on track, and that might have done it right there. They finally realized Pompanio's been hot up to this point, maybe is beatable. As we said for the face-off, we have number 15, of course, John Harold, who's done all the facing off for Towson today, and number 33, Matt Spino for Dulaney. Harold comes out of the pack with the ball. Struggling, loses it on a bad pass, however.
And here comes Dulaney. They got the last goal, and now they're coming back to try to get another one. And there's a shot, and a nice stop by Pompanio. Shot by Clark. And a nice stop by Pompanio. And number 3, Sheehan with the ball for Towson. These are those unsettled situations. And Sheehan falls down. But the ball picked up very alertly by number 25, Sam Goff. So Towson now still ahead 7-4.
Some real aggressive defensive play there, but Dulaney cannot afford penalties at this point.
And a nice shot feed by Bacher. The shot not in the goal by Washburn. And Dulaney now comes upfield with it. Ball on the ground. And finally controlled by number 7, and now here's Dulaney with it, number 44. That's Chris Gorney. So the Lions trailing, and we now have less than 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Towson leading 7-4. Here's Speno with the ball in the middle. Coming around. It's jarred loose. And picked up there by Towson, by number 24. That's Dorsey Moore. But Dulaney gets it back. We're now under 25 seconds to go in the third quarter, and we've got an injured player. And the referee's calling timeout. It's Matt Speno. He's on the ground. And the referee wisely calling timeout there to let the trainers come out and attend to Matt. There's number 1, Bob Pompanio for Towson, who's done a tremendous job in the goal today. Bob's only a junior. And he stopped a number of shots at point-blank range. And so with a timeout here on the field, the score is 7-4 on Cable 4. Stay with us. Towson leading 7-4, and Matt Speno being taken off there. You can see him being helped from the field. And we don't know whether we'll see him anymore today. But for now, he's being taken off to the bench. Dulaney has the ball. They are trailing by 3 goals, and we have 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. So the Lions will try to cut into that margin. And the pass intercepted very alertly by Dorsey Moore. And here is Brendan Kelly racing to pick it up because we are running out of time here. Kelly's now going to come in and pass the ball off. Here's a shot and a nice stop in there by the goalie for Dulaney. That is Chris Swanenberg. Towson with it, but time is going to run out here.
And that is the period.
And that's the end of the third quarter with Towson leading Dulaney 7-4. Bob, what about statistics? They mean much in this game?
Well, I don't know that the statistics tell us a whole lot other than the statistic of the score, which is Towson 7, Dulaney 4 at this point. Dulaney's outdoing Towson on the ground balls at almost 2-1 at this point, so I'm not sure that means much.
It's 7-4 Towson. Stay with Cable 4 for the fourth quarter. out there bravely playing in these very unpleasant conditions. The drummer with plenty of energy there. There's the Towson huddle. The Generals leading 7-4, but as you pointed out before, Bob, Dulaney can score in bunches, and so we certainly haven't seen the end of this game by a long shot. We've got 10 more minutes of lacrosse here at Minnigan Stadium at Towson State University. And Matt Speno went out, and that could certainly hurt Dulaney if he can't return, because he has done quite well for them on face-offs, which are being dominated here to a great degree so far by Towson.
Yeah, the face-off, to give you a quick rundown on some unofficial statistics, we've got Towson with 16-5 in a face-off edge. Ground balls 2-1 almost for Dulaney, 19-10. Shots about even, 15 each. That does make it exactly even. Saves 3 for the Dulaney goalkeeper, 6 for Towson. And of course the score, 4 for Dulaney, 7 for Towson.
So the all-important fourth quarter. Harold in there for Towson, and number 12 for Dulaney, Ted Elliott. Well, we get a call on that sideline. Now again, this time Towson will be going in the opposite direction. Dulaney, there's the Dulaney goal. So Towson going from your left to your right, Dulaney from your right to your left, and that is Brendan Kelly. Attempted shot there that went over the goal. And the ball will be given to Dulaney.
The referee losing his hat in the excitement, but still makes the call. Dulaney gets possession of the ball.
Handling it will be number 16, Tony Grogan. But the man that outran the attack man was Chris Gorney, who got to the sideline first. Dulaney now on their clear. Back to the goalkeeper. That's Swanenberg, number 23. Swanenberg playing the second half. Paulie Arfarth the first half.
You're all wet. You're all wet.
Number 16, Tony Grogan. Long pass across the field. And here comes Dulaney. Shot over the goal. Dulaney will retain control, and that was set up again by the defenseman Stevenson. Stevenson with a lot of potential assists today from that defense position.
Yeah, Towson's slapping a tough 10-man ride on Dulaney, and Dulaney's having to be patient, as we saw on that particular clear, to get the ball out. Getting it in front of that 10-man ride, however, can mean you get a shot off.
There's the Dulaney goalie. He's watching the action now as his attack is trying to cut into this 3-goal deficit. It's 7-4 Towson with 8 minutes and 43 seconds left in the ball game. Bad pass there, but Dulaney retaining control. And this is Clark coming around the goal. Jay Clark, who's got lots of goals this year for the Lions.
Oh, and that was Lardieri taking the ball on the shot there, but prior to the shot, the referee got him for a warding off call. So possession goes over to Towson behind the goal.
So the Generals will now work on their clear. And we've had very little scoring in this half. 1 goal by each team. The weather certainly taking its toll. And this is number 9 with the ball. Mark Evans, a defenseman, back to his goalie, Pompanio. Back to Evans in the center, and here comes Dulaney on that ball. And this is number 19, Tim Berquist.
Berquist getting through traffic there, doing a nice job under heavy pressure.
Brendan Kelly over to Fusting. And now we're going to get a call.
This is a referee's timeout. We have an injured player on the field.
Well, number 19, Tim Berquist, went right down that time.
It's okay, he's moving around. Apparently he got clipped with a stick or some such thing in that Valiant clear a moment ago.
Right, well, he went through 3 players that time, and then he signaled the referee that he had a problem and went to the center of the field and just basically collapsed.
Here's a portion of the good crowd that we have here today at Towson Stadium.
Some very hardy fans over there because the weather conditions are certainly not very good, but Bergquist and Fusting, I don't think Fusting is helping him that much. Now he is limping a little bit, Bob, on that right leg. He doesn't want to put that right leg down on the ground. Well, this could hurt Towson because Bergquist has 3 goals already today. So Towson now will have the ball. Brendan Kelly will have it. There are the Towson cheerleaders.
That was a referee's timeout. There was not a penalty on that, so both teams are even up when the ball gets back in play. We're waiting up just a minute here while Dulaney goalkeeper Swanenberg adjusts his equipment out of our camera view.
He's all right now. He's got his glove back on, and he's ready. There's Chris in the goal. And here comes Towson, number 25, Sam Goff. And on the far side, it looks like Sheehan. That is John Sheehan, number 3. Sheehan around his man who falls down. And there's Kelly, and 3 men after Kelly. Every time Kelly touches the ball, he attracts the attention of every Dulaney defender.
But that little flurry right there, I think, has been a difference in the ballgame. The Towson offense is fast and loose, moving the ball real nicely. The Dulaney offense seems a little tense and tentative with their passing.
Sheehan with a somewhat weak shot that time, and Swanenberg made the stop. And here comes Stevenson. He's been all over the field today for the Lions. Nice pass ahead, and Dulaney on the fast break. And a nice stop by Pompanio. And I think he was getting him in the crease that time. Pompanio in the crease, yes. The Dulaney player hit his stick while he was in the crease trying to control the shot. So Towson will get the ball. So more fine work by Bob Pompanio, who's only a junior. He'll be back at Towson again next year. And every year, Bob, Towson seems to have an outstanding goalkeeper.
Yeah, the last year, Barney Aburn, of course, was well known around county circles as the finest goalkeeper, and Pompanio stepped right in to take his position. On that last play, Rob Robertson, number 15 for Dulaney, took the shot, and then when Pompanio made the save, he reached in the crease and hit his stick. With possession, that would allow, as we see on the offensive end of the field, Towson a free clear.
Kelly dodging, dodging, dodging. Coming in out bad angle that time and passed it right to Dulaney defenseman. Gorney, and he passes the ball ahead. And this is Ted Elliott. And here's a shot and a score that time. Clark would not be denied.
The fast break worked right there, just to perfection. Jay Clark taking the ball out in front on the pass from the midfielder, passing it in to Jamie Pizzula on attack to put the ball over Pompanio's left shoulder.
Number 6, Jay Clark with the goal for Dulaney. And that makes it 7-5. Towson now only leading by 2. So the Lions are coming back, and there's Jay Clark, number 6, his first goal of the day, and Dulaney's 5th goal. 7-5. We've got 6 minutes and 26 seconds left to go in the game. So Towson controlled the ball for a long period of time, and then Dulaney simply came down and right away scored a goal. Harold with the face-off. He gets it back to Fusting, and Harold will immediately come out.
That tightens it to 2 goals with about 6 minutes left in the game.
Bacher now with it. Being closely guarded by Stevenson, and a bad pass. And that ball goes out of bounds. So a bad pass by Towson, giving Dulaney the ball. And the Lions with momentum, having just scored to cut the margin to 7-5 with 6 minutes to go. We can see Coach Randy Dace there signaling his troops from the sideline. And here comes Dulaney. Elliott out in the center of the field, being guarded by Fusting. Back to number 16, Tony Grogan. Ball behind the goal now. This is Clark. He just got the last goal. Dulaney now very quick on attack. There's a shot, and it's by the goal. Pompanio picks it up. And he gets the pass out to number 10, Richard Rosenthal, junior midfielder. And the ball in the center to Bergquist, so he couldn't have been very badly hurt because he's back in the game.
And sometimes those injuries disappear quickly in these big games. But it's good to see him back. We always get concerned when we see a player go down in these games.
Bergquist did the smart thing that time, didn't try to force his way in. He gets over to Fusting. Fusting content to just play it carefully. Bacher on that far side. Fusting again around his man. And in the center to Bergquist. Bergquist being played very tightly there. That's number 13, Bill Heapy for Dulaney. And now Brendan Kelly. Kelly being played by Gorney, Chris Gorney. Kelly coming around, 2 men. There's a shot by the goal. Nice stop in there by Swanenberg. And it goes out of bounds. And the ball over to Dulaney.
Yeah, and the referee's judgment, Bergquist assisted the ball out of bounds. If it was the momentum of the ball on the shot that carried out of bounds, then the closest man would have the ball. But it's a judgment call by the referee, and Dulaney gets possession.
Now there's Dave Bacher, number 6. But Dulaney will have the ball, and picking it up is number 7, Andy Lung, who is a midfielder. There's some of the fans. Andy is a junior at Dulaney. Here he comes, number 7. Dulaney's passing a lot better in this quarter. Lung back with it again. And Sheehan overplayed him a little bit that time. Here's Clark, and he's going to take the shot. Another stop by Pompanio. Now we're going to get another call. And it'll go against Towson, so Dulaney will get the ball. It's hard to see what that call was, but it's a technical violation, simply meaning that the ball will be given to Dulaney in their attacking zone.
That's an interesting play there. The technical foul is called while the ball is on the other end of the field, and normally the rule is that the ball is put in play at the position where it was when the whistle blew. How the ball got the other end of the field, I don't know.
There's a score.
It's a score for Dulaney.
It's now a 1-goal game.
And that tightens it to 1 goal.
Number 8, Mike Hayes, scoring his first goal of the day. And the Dulaney Lions have come roaring back. And Pompanio looking around, and they are now trailing 7-6. And we've got 3 minutes and 34 seconds. So in the last few minutes, it's been all Dulaney. They're passing much crisper. And Towson will control the ball for long periods of time, the happy Dulaney fans. And then Dulaney will come down the field and very quickly score a goal. And we've got a timeout. Coach Randy Days wanting to settle his team down now. They had a very comfortable 4-goal margin, 7-3. They've seen it cut to 1, 7-6 with 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in period number 4. So we're back with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left to go. Dulaney now trailing by only 7-6. It's a 1-goal game, just as it was at the end of last year's game. And we've certainly seen exciting lacrosse here today, although somewhat, Bob, I think, affected by the weather conditions.
Possibly so, but then also we got to remember it's a big game for both of these teams coming in knowing that this is their #1 match of the season. It can be expected that they both might be a little bit tight, so it's hard to say whether the weather or the excitement of the game or what, but things have tightened up here right at the end and gotten us right to the point where we expected to be at this time. Well, here's a 1-goal ball game going down to the wire.
And here's that last or most recent face-off. May not be the last one with these two teams. Referee moving them there out of the mud that's right in the center of the field, getting them over there where there is a little bit of grass. Harold getting the ball for Towson, but in trouble quickly. Sheehan, and here's Kelly. And a score, number 26 for Towson. Or is that 25?
That was 25.
25, Sam Goff.
On the assist from Brendan Kelly on a nice face-off job by John Harold. Just what you expect to see from the Towson offense.
Had to look at the monitor that time because when we look out at the field, because of the rain and the kind of foggy conditions here, it's much harder to see the numbers, and we see them much better on our Cable 4 picture on the monitor. So that was indeed Sam Goff, and that gives Towson now a 2-goal lead with 3 minutes and 14 seconds left to go in the ball game. So we talked about getting goals quickly, and Towson certainly got one there right off the face-off. And here they come again. Brendan Kelly with the ball, and he missed the goal. That was number 8, Tim Washburn, on a nice feed from Kelly, and he missed the goal.
Kelly popped right out of that face-off situation with a fast break, and it was well executed, and the shot just went over the goal.
So Towson will retain control. And our director in the truck, Bob, a Towson graduate, dying 1,000 deaths.
Well, we're impartial in these games, Wilson.
Okay, that's John Sheehan there with the ball.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Towson go to a little bit of a slowdown here now with the 2-goal cushion with about 2.5 minutes left or so in the game. They may not go directly to the stall, but I'll bet you they start playing a real deliberate style game right here.
It's 8-6, Towson in the lead, and we're down to about 2:30. And there's the thing that hurts, falling down on that wet grass. And Coach Randy Dace is, I believe, calling a timeout. He saw his man in trouble. This is very much like basketball. So Towson is going to take a timeout here, leading 8-6. Cable 4s will be right back. Stay with us. 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Towson leading 8-6. And there are some of the cold, wet, but still enthusiastic Towson cheerleaders. Remind you, on May 24th at Johns Hopkins University at 6 o'clock for the Leukemia Fund, the Towson Girls All-Stars, and at 8 o'clock the MSA versus County All-Star game. May 24th at Johns Hopkins. The game will be played. Cable 4 will have it for you on television. And here is Towson with a pass out of bounds, throwing the ball away, just what they didn't want to do at this stage. And a break for Dulaney. They will be ahead. They will be with the ball and trailing by 8-6, and they've got 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go.
That was a break for Dulaney there. I'm quite sure that Randy Dace called a timeout to set up the Lacrosse equivalent of the Four Corners offense, and throwing the ball out of bounds, turning it over to Dulaney as a break for them.
Towson offsides. Brendan Kelly fell offsides that time, so Dulaney will go ahead with this offensive play. And there's the shot stopped by Pompanio, but Towson will be down a man for 30 seconds because they were offsides.
This is a very important extra man situation here for Dulaney. They have to score on this play to get back to within a goal and have a shot at this.
And Coach Gary Schreiber is taking a timeout. So give us an opportunity again to remind you of those May 24th games for the Leukemia Foundation. They're played at Johns Hopkins University. It'll be 6 o'clock. The Baltimore County girls will play an all-star game. And at 8 o'clock, the MSA All-Stars will play all-stars from Baltimore County, Carroll, Howard, and Anne Arundel. And that's for the Leukemia Fund. The game will be played Johns Hopkins, May 24th, 6 and 8 o'clock. Cable 4 will carry those games and broadcast them for you at a later time. And we remind you also that on May the 19th, we will have the Baltimore County All-Star game played at Catonsville Community College at 2 o'clock, and Cable 4 will also be telecasting that game for you. So some exciting All-Star action coming up in May on Cable 4. Any comments about our broadcasts? Please send them to Joanne Rasmussen, production manager, Cable 4, Catonsville Community College, Catonsville, Maryland. We'd like to hear if you watch the games, how many watch the games, how often you watch the games, or any comments about our broadcast. So there's the name and number to send your comments, just a postcard, to Joanne Rasmussen in care of Cable 4, Catonsville, Maryland, 21228.
Donations gladly accepted, but send those to me, Bob Sopkin.
Yes, and I'd certainly like to thank my driver, Gary Keaty, for getting me here today, and I hope getting me home in a safe condition, because if anything, it is raining harder. So this last minute and 56 seconds will be played in some very heavy rain. And here comes Dulaney, down by 2, under 2 minutes to go. Dulaney with an extra man. Shot and stop, and a
It
goal.
is in.
The ball rolled into the goal. And the goal scorer again was Lardieri. Mark Lardieri with his 4th goal today. The 3rd goal for Dulaney in this half, and is now 8-7. The margin is again 1 goal, and Pompanio very unhappy on that because it looked like he had made the stop, but the ball trickled into the goal. So it is now 8-7. Towson leading, but it's only 1 goal margin, and only a few seconds, Bob, elapsed that time. Dulaney got a goal in about 9 seconds.
Just what they needed to do. Actually, I'll reiterate what you just said. Pompanio appeared to have gotten a piece of the ball, but in bouncing around in that crease area, it somehow ended up in the goal. It was obscured from our vision. I don't think we got a clear picture of it. But the net result is a score for Dulaney.
Now, Brendan Kelly with the ball, and Towson would like to do nothing more than just hang on to it. Bacher dodging. And picked up by number 24, Dorsey Moore. Moore trying to evade the Dulaney defender. And some good work in there by Stevenson.
We have a push being called here on a loose ball, which will get possession back to Towson.
And number 13, Brendan Kelly, will have it. We're down to 1:18 on the scoreboard. Now, that is unofficial. 1:18, but it's certainly very close. And there you can see it. Can't be any tighter. 8-7. And behind the goal, Bacher back to Kelly. And here's that up. There's the ball on the ground. And this is what you refer to as the 4-corner lacrosse offense.
Yeah, Towson's going to try to just keep possession of the ball, pass it around, make the Dulaney defense run to them, possibly drawing a foul here, putting them in the extra man situation, which would kill the rest of the game. But there's the ball on the crease.
In on the crease, 2. And as soon as the crowd gets away from him, we'll see who it is.
It was number 8, Tim Washburn, getting a goal there, Wilson.
Well, that's Tim's 2nd goal of the day.
Doing just what that 4 corners offense does in basketball. It opens up, forces the defense to chase the ball, and so often leaves a man open on the inside.
And we're under 1 minute, and we do have an injured player on the field, and coming out to take a look is assistant coach Randy Walker. Randy just announced that this year, after 30 years, Bob, he is retiring as coach of the basketball team at Towson. He'll stay on as athletic director, but retiring as coach. So Randy Walker, after 30 years, retiring as Towson's basketball coach, and he's been working with the lacrosse team the last several years, helping out Coach Randy Dace. It seems to be a leg injury, but there's the score, 9-7. Towson now with a 2-goal lead, and the scoreboard says 47 seconds. So, Bob, we've seen a game that was as close and as well played as we certainly expected it to be.
Yeah, things have gotten exciting down here at the end. Dulaney, of course, perhaps their inexperienced attack being the reason why their offense never seemed to get as powerfully untracked as perhaps we had anticipated. The weather conditions, of course, leading to some of the slowdown in the game. A little bit lower scoring than I thought we'd have today, Wilson.
Well, the elements, I'm sure, had some effect on that. But it's 16 goals is not a shabby day for either team. It's just the excellence of both squads that they're not able to score at will as they have against some other opponents. And the injured player is number 3, it looks like. Yes, John Sheehan, and he's going to limp off. We'd certainly, again, like to thank the people at Towson State to be able to use their fine facility here, and also our Cable 4 crew, who is out there standing still, basically, throughout this entire game in the rain. And if you don't think that's a tough job to do, to operate a camera, keep up with the game, and be rained on all day, just give it a try whenever you have nothing better to do. So they've done a terrific job for us here today. And we'll be back next week with a girls lacrosse game, Owings Mills at Woodlawn. So stay with Cable 4. Our season is far from over. Here's that face-off. 47 seconds to go. Towson leading 9-7.
Towson comes up with the face-off, but quickly throws the ball away.
And here comes Dulaney. Dulaney down by 2, and they need to score very quickly. Nice stop in there by Pompanio and his defenseman, and the old Gilman clear, as we've heard of over the years. Ball on the ground, and of course all this works to Towson's advantage because it eats up time. And Brendan Kelly with the ball, and there's going to be a call against Dulaney. Kelly was mugged somewhat there. Again, the Dulaney team desperate. They have to get the ball, and now the scoreboard shows 9 seconds, and Towson will be extra, and they lead 9-7. But again, in the state playoffs coming up, look for both of these teams to perform very well. Towson will be in the Class A playoffs, and Dulaney will be in the Class AA playoffs, and we hope we will be covering the finals if one of those teams makes it.
It's all over but the shouting now as Towson takes the ball in bounds.
Way out of bounds, but we're down on the scoreboard to 4 seconds. So this would be a miracle for Dulaney to do anything. Even if they score 1 goal, they're still...
The Towson fans are celebrating already. As well they have a right to.
And they will be 9-0, and Dulaney will be 8-1. And that's it.
The ball game.
The ball game is over. The Towson Generals, for the 2nd year in a row, have won over their arch rivals, the Dulaney Lions, by a score of 9-7. And the big goal getters today for Dulaney, it was Mark Lardieri with 4. And for Towson, balanced scoring, Berquist with 3, Kelly with 2, Washburn with 2. Just a fine day for everybody on the Towson side, a real team effort. Bob, your final thoughts on today's game?
It's real exciting. I get a real pleasure out of watching the Towson players here and the so-called thrill of victory. But boy, it's a wonderful thing to come through a big game like this and feel that charge and know that you have it in the bag. Both teams having excellent seasons, of course, and as you mentioned, they'll both be in the state playoffs, looking to round out the rest of their season.
Certainly, many of these players play together, have played together on midget teams and junior teams in various leagues before reaching the high school. They played against each other. The schools are very close, as most Baltimore Countyans know, and almost in a sense neighborhood rivals, and so this means a lot to both schools, but both of them have certainly performed well here today. The weather certainly affecting the game, but perhaps not the outcome, because both teams obviously having to play under the same conditions. And here's that final handshake, and we'd certainly like again to remind you to stay with Cable 4 for some upcoming games. Girls lacrosse with Owings, Mills, and Woodlawn. The All-Star lacrosse games at Catonsville Community College, and 2 from Johns Hopkins. The state playoffs. So there'll be a lot more lacrosse coming your way on Cable 4. And players shaking hands, a tradition at lacrosse games after the game. Certainly a very good tradition, a very sportsmanlike tradition. And it's been our pleasure to be with you today and throughout this season. And this game, always an exciting one, and we certainly plan to be back with you next year, this game becoming an annual event for Cable 4. So this is Wilson Watson together with Bob Sopka saying it's been our pleasure to be here today from Minnigan Stadium to bring you the game. The final score, the Towson Generals 9, the Dulaney Lions 7. So long, everybody.